Alright, got my final preliminary match of the Grand Market Grand Prix tournament versus E.Honda. E.Honda actually is the person I lost to in grand finals of last year's iteration of this tournament. We met in winners finals and he beat me. Then we met in grand finals and I beat him. But because he was undefeated, I had to beat him a second time, and then I lost in the second match. So I ended up playing him in like 3 of my 7 matches in that tournament. In any case, out for revenge. I also just lost to him in League recently. I needed to beat him to make it to the championship match this season, and I lost 4-2. So what have we got here? We've got... What's the way of the mouse target, first off? Sage, okay. So we don't have any plus buy. We have Grave Robber and Artificer for gains. I think those will be pretty significant. There's also no trashing, though, is there? That's actually kind of awkward. The lack of trashing actually really seems like an inconvenience, doesn't it? Because like the draw here is fine. You can draw to X via Hunting Lodge. Paddock and Black Cat are like +1 draw, but it's not like amazing or anything. I think it's still worth building. It's just gonna be awkward. Well, in any case, what am I opening with? I think Cut Purse Black Cat seems right, with the idea that I'm likely playing the Black Cat as Sage. I sure hope he doesn't have the 5-2. I hope he was just opening Black Cat on the 3-4 like I planned to. 5-2 seems substantially better here. I'm still not exactly sure where this deck is going. I feel like I just want some combination of all the 5-cost actions. And that's the main idea. Well, he has the 5-2. Well, screw you, E.Honda. I'll take Black Cat then, I guess. This is a fine draw. I can get a 5 here. Is that Paddock? Do I agree with him that Paddock is the first 5? I kind of like Artificer as well. I think I'm going to take the Artificer. Not sure. I'm going to take Artificer first. Oh, well, never mind. I thought I had a good draw. I didn't have a good draw. The draw I had looked like it was going to be fine, provided I didn't bottom deck Black Cat, because then I could have triggered this shuffle and found either my Cut Purse or my Artificer, either of which would have been pretty nice. As it turns out, neither of those things occurred. So I'm probably a bit behind here, just on account of him being player 1 with the 5-2. We'll see if we can come back. This is the sort of kingdom where I don't think you want to resign too early, just because the lack of trashing means the decks are going to be somewhat unreliable, and so there's some chance maybe he has a bad dud in a late turn. Can't rule that out. I am guaranteed to find Artificer here. I actually hope the Artificer is very far down my deck, because the Black Cat, if played as Sage, is just going to discard cards until I get to Artificer. So the ideal spot for my Artificer, I think, would be like the 8th card in my deck. I don't want it to be at the very, very bottom, because then I would trigger a shuffle when I played it. But if it's anywhere else, like 7th or 8th, that's really good, because I'm discarding most of my junk before I find it. I'd be a little bit unhappy if it were on top, because then my next hand is going to have a lot of junk still. Not quite perfect, but about as good as I can hope for. It's a really good location for it. So now we're going to discard a bunch. Maybe not a bunch. Maybe just taking Black Cat here and a Hunting Lodge. It's interesting. The black cat stuff plays a little bit different than normal sage would, because normal sage finds your other sages, whereas black cat played a sage skips over your other black cat sages, because it only costs 2. So I think I want to... Actually, what do I want to do? I don't think I want to play the black cat first. I was thinking I wanted to like find the artificer, discard a bunch, redraw with hunting lodge. But I think given how far this first black cat drew, that would trigger a very undesirable shuffle for me. So I think I'm just going to do it this order. And this looks pretty fine. I probably want to buy ports here. Is that true? Well, if I buy ports, I can only get a 4 cost off of artificer. So maybe I don't want to buy ports after all. So I could take a black cat and buy barracks. I could take a 5 cost off of artificer and then buy black cat. Both of those sound really good to me. I think I like top decking a hunting lodge for next turn. Is that right? Or maybe I want to top deck artificer? I don't know. Let's just top deck black cat and buy barracks. Artificer and Cursed Village is like a really strong combo, because the Artificer can discard 5 cards to gain another Artificer or Cursed Village, then you play the Cursed Village to draw back up to 6. Artificer Hunting Lodge is like a little bit weaker on its own, just because you can only discard 4 cards, because Hunting Lodge draws up to 5, not to 6. And so if I want 5, then you'd be able to play some Black Cats as well for like 1 extra draw to get to a 6-card hand. Then discard down to just Hunting Lodge and draw back up. And so my hope is to do something like that. I got this really good bread from the store, but it's got this stuff on it that looks suspiciously like mold. I can't tell if it's like moldy or if that's just like the weird seasoning they put on top of the bread. And I'm afraid to eat it. I think I want to play the cut purse as sage, or maybe I just play let's play the black cat normally first. Now sage. We found our artificer. Perfect. Gain a second artificer. Wait a second. Okay, so this is the second way in which Artificer Hunting Lodge is a lot worse than the Artificer Cursed Village combo, is I have to draw the Artificer. Which kind of defeats the point, doesn't it? Well, so much for that. It's still not a bad combo, but it isn't Artificer Cursed Village levels of good by any stretch. I want to buy ports. I feel like my deck wants ports in it, but I keep ending up in these scenarios where in order to leave enough money to buy a port, I would have to only take a 4 cost of Artificer. And I want to gain a port off of Artificer. That's just sad. Because if you gain a port via means other than buying it, you don't get the little double effect. So maybe I'm still not getting ports yet. Maybe I'm just taking another black cat and a 5. Is that right? I guess so. I do have a Hunting Lodge top decked, I think. No, I don't. I only have one Hunting Lodge. Why did I think I had more than one? Yeah, I'm definitely top decking a Hunting Lodge then. I still really want ports. It's just a really efficient way to get plus action. Buying one port gives you two of them. I'm like 40% sure this is mold. Dang it. The bread is really good. I suspect they're still a little bit ahead. Like, I feel like I've been pretty happy with my turns, but their turns are also going pretty well. And they just had that initial starting advantage that I don't think I've overcome here. The green face is going to be a pain in the butt with all these black cats in our decks. So here again, I think I'm going to play the black cat normally, then play the cut purse as a sage, hope to find an artificer, and then I'll have 6 cards in hand, and I can discard 5 for some 5 cost, and then play the hunting lodge. So those last 3 cards in his hand must be 3 coppers, right? If his discard is 4 coppers and 3 estates. So like he played this horse as a sage, which meant he drew nothing because he had no cards left, costing 3 or more for sage to draw. But I imagine that was intentional and not a mistake. If he plans on buying something other than province, well, he's already got 7 money, in which case he can afford to buy it either way. And playing it this way means you don't waste the horse, because if you play the horse normally, it goes back to the pile. If you play it as mouse, it doesn't. And so playing the horse's way of the mouse here just clears 2 coppers off the top of your deck, which is good. Artificer, thank you very much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe just another hunting lodge. All right. I want the last black cat. And I guess Paddock looks really good now, doesn't it? Grave Robber is also starting to look pretty good. But Paddock has just become non-terminal. I sure hope he buys a province here. Or gains a province. If for some reason you didn't want to give out curses, you could still react to the black cat and play it via Way of the Mouse instead of the normal way. Like, I don't know, maybe for example the curse pile is really low already and you don't want to give out curses or else they can pile out. and so you could react the black cat to draw one anyway. You draw one instead of two, and you wouldn't give it a curse, so like 95% of the time that's worse, but you could technically do it. I can't get over this bread. I'm going to need to take a quick break between these games and go grab a different snack. Okay, so we will play a black cat first. So Artificer can gain a 5. Maybe just another paddock for now. Guess I'm just discarding here. I guess I'm going to play one more before discarding, because it's going to cause all this crap to miss the shuffle. So that seems better to me. I have another Artificer, right? Or am I just making that up? I do. Okay, good. What's down there? I think there's another hunting lodge down there or something. I actually don't know. So I've discarded 2 coppers and 2 estates. So that leaves 2 coppers unaccounted for. Is it just 2 coppers? I think the last card might just be a copper. Alright, anyways, what am I gaining? I could discard 5, gain paddock, draw paddock, play 2 paddocks. Maybe even by province then. I can gain a grave robber, but I can't really use it very effectively. Like if I gain a grave robber and drew it, then I could trash paddock, but I don't really want to trash a paddock. I could discard for Artificer. If I draw that, I can't discard. If I play the black cat normally and then play Artificer, well, I still wouldn't have enough to discard, and I'll trigger a bad shuffle. I think the paddock line is looking like the only viable line here. And in this case, I do believe I want to draw normally with the black cat, just to get that copper off the top. And am I provincing now? I harbor a serious fear that I'm just gonna buy a province and get 5 curses, and then the province is gonna be worth functionally 1 point, and put 6 stop cards in my deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think we split the black cats 5-5, didn't we? Or did we not? Maybe I have more of them. I think I actually might have more of the black cats. Maybe I'm less afraid of buying the province. Let me do that one more time. So he got the first one, the third one. Oh, wait a second. He got the first black cat, the third, and the fourth black cat. And the 9th black cat. No, I won the split 6-4. I'll take a province. Ha 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 ha! Suck at E.Honda. 0 curses for me. I'm gonna give him at least 1 if he provinces here. Maybe I'm ahead now. I don't know. I mean, it still looks really close. But I think I might actually have a slight lead here, which is nice, given the starts. I still want ports, but I've just never found a good opportunity during this game to acquire ports, ever. And at this point, it's looking less likely to happen. Because once you reach the greening stage in a single buy kingdom, you're probably just spending it on province most of the time. I mean, the lack of trashing is a bit of a pain. But other than that, I think this kingdom has a lot of really fun cards. I'm a real big fan of Artificer. I think it's not the artwork. The artwork is pretty mediocre, but it's a fun card otherwise. Grave Robber hasn't shown up, but I also enjoy Grave Robber. That one's actually objectively on the weaker side of things, but this is a kingdom where I think you could see play. And of course, Way of the Mouse. We actually agreed in advance of this match to play all 4 of the games with Way of the Mouse. Just for fun. I suspect he'll province here. Realistically, the curses junking in your deck isn't that big of a problem with how many cards here can be Sage and just skip over stuff. And you can just like discard them with Artificer and they're still not that terrible. But the Black Cats I think are going to matter a lot anyway. If nothing else, curses are still -1 victory point. Usually that's the lesser of the 2 harms of curse compared to the junking effect. But like the points do matter. And then also, just getting to play your Black Cat non-terminally is also a really big benefit. And I think that can be overlooked sometimes, is just like getting to activate your Black Cat. Separate from the cursing effect that he gives your opponent, it means you got to play it for free and didn't have to spend an action on it, which can be really nice. I'm not totally sure that the early-ish greening at my province last turn is actually correct. It's possible you could build more, like with Grave Robber, for example, and just build up to a turn where you take a bunch of provinces at once. That does have the advantage of having fewer turns where you potentially activate their Black Cat. It has the downside, though, of these decks aren't super reliable, and so if on that like final turn you get some bad draws and don't line the Grave Robbers up well, you'd be really sad. Okay, so yeah, he's taking a Grave Robber. He might be building more. That very well might be the better play. Ho 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 ho! Ho ho ho! Take it. Alright. Do I want a Grave Robber now? I might. If nothing else, there's a horse in the trash. We're drawing through our deck. I've got this idea. I don't know if this is right at all, but at the moment, my plan, I think, is I'm just gonna bank up the horses by playing them as Sage, and that gives me the ability to use a bunch more on like the final turn, which could be good. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's what I'm doing. So we're just gonna Sage a bunch of these horses and store them up. Well, I can't get a 5 if I want to play this paddock. And I kind of do want to play this paddock. Am I getting a port here? Am I finally going to get my port? I think a single port is probably just better at this point than a cut purse or a bard. Actually, I don't know. Maybe bard's not bad. If you happen to get Forest Spoon, the plus buy one, that would be really significant, wouldn't it? Is that greedy? Trying to gamble for the Forest Boon. That might be too greedy. I'm just gonna take this port. I've been wanting ports this entire game. I'm gonna get my damn port. Please no black cat. Pretty please. Curse you. Well, curse me, I guess. Not 2 of them? That's just unconscionable. What kind of asshole would play a black cat when their opponent buys province? Okay, so now I have more of the curses. And I don't even have black cat on top. This isn't working out right. I was supposed to give out the curses, not get them. I don't really have the deck control here to have much say over all that, though. Like, sometimes you're just going to have to trigger undesirable shuffles and decks use random. Wait, is that right? That's not right. Decks this random or decks these random? Decks this random is the correct way, isn't it? Can I triple province here? I think theoretically I could. That would involve grave robbing like a paddock or a hunting lodge in a province, buying a province, and then artificering a province. Artificing? Artifinating? In any case, it's definitely theoretically possible for me to do triple province. I don't know that that's super likely, though. And so I think it would be reasonable for E.Honda to take a province here anyway and take that risk. Double province here for E.Honda might be more dubious. I think double province for my deck is not at all that unlikely. I mean, it's not guaranteed by any stretch either, but it's also not unlikely. If I were him, I think I would be taking one province plus other stuff. I don't know exactly what the other stuff is. Additional grave robbers, hunting lodges, something like that. Yeah, single province. Well, we're going to play our horses this turn and hope for a big turn, I said. Big turn. Come on. Okay, I was really worried there for a second that turn was just going to be nothing. I mean, it's still a little shaky, but we're getting places. All right, I'm actually getting pretty close to triple province territory now, aren't I? Now I should probably slow down and think. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 junk cards here already. I'm not quite in triple territory yet, right? Like if I played the Artificer, assuming I drew something junky, I could discard these 5 junk plus the 2 black cats plus whatever I drew. And that'd be a province. Then I could grave rob Hunting Lodge into province. But then I'd have 7 money left. So I'm really close. If I find Paddock, I think I get the win, right? Like if I just keep saging the black cats until I find a Paddock, then I could play Paddock and then play Artificer. Then I could discard these 5 junk cards plus 1 copper, which I wouldn't need anymore, 6, plus whatever Artificer draws plus 1 black cat. Yeah, that would work. So we're gonna... There you go. Hello, Paddock. This should be a win now. Use Artificer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Province. Yeah, give me those curses. I don't even care. All of them. Only 2? That's weak. Alright, province and province. GG. And I was player 2 too. That's nice. I don't know that I outplayed him or anything. I feel like we mostly did largely the same things there. I mean, maybe some of the decisions were better, like the Artificer before Paddock. It's at least as plausible that I just won that on account of like having marginally better shuffles towards the end. I didn't see anything obvious that he did that I thought was an incorrect decision. Alright, this kingdom. Way the Mouse Border Guard. That's interesting. How does that interact with artifacts? So I think there's just no reason to ever take the horn, right? Because you can't actually top deck your border guards because your cards aren't real border guards. So you should always take the lantern. I strongly suspect I'm going to take the horn at some point in this game anyway, on account of I naturally just always click the horn before the lantern when prompted to take one, and that's going to be a mistake. All right, what else do we have going on? Got scheme. We got the only draw is archive. There's no plus buy. We have villages, but not a very good village. Obviously, with limited draw, you don't want to draw a negative village. And Bandit Camp is functionally draw negative because it's giving you a stop card, which you don't want in your deck. This is a little awkward. There's Pilgrimage, which is kind of sort of a way to gain additional things. Although I'm not sure how many of these cards I actually really want in my deck. The obvious thing to do here would just be to build towards like a stack of groundskeepers with some archives and then buying provinces one at a time. Of course, the question is, like, with the kingdom's pretty weak. There's no trashing, except I guess an opponent's pirate ship if E.Honda were so kind as to take a pirate ship. There's very limited draw, limited action, no real gains. I'm not sure exactly how worth it is to build up to a big stack of groundskeepers as opposed to maybe taking 1 or 2 and then just going straight for provinces, just because it's a real weak kingdom. One thing that pushes, I guess, marginally in the direction of groundskeeper stack is you can gain estates off of Sculptor. It's not really strong or anything, but like it's technically extra points, and that might make it worth it to build a bit. In any case, either strategy is going to involve hitting 5, so I think Warehouse Quarry seems in order to me. feels like a pretty good way to hit 5s. I think I'm leaning towards building on the bigger side rather than greening on the sooner side. I feel like there's just enough here to make that pretty worth it. Which would mean I need to get like a copy of an archive, a copy of a groundskeeper, and then I'll be buying... Actually, is Pilgrimage even good? Like, the cards I want to gain from Pilgrimage are basically just archive and groundskeeper. And if you're spending 2 buys on Pilgrimage, theoretically it's gaining the additional cards because it's gaining you 3 for 2 buys. But if the only cards I value off of the Pilgrimage are archive and groundskeeper, I mean, I could just buy those directly for 2 buys. I'm netting myself like a scheme or something each turn, or a sculptor maybe, but that's not like super important. I think Pilgrimage is still better than nothing. I guess having additional sculptors in your deck is at least a marginal benefit. These bottom cards are both estates, so if I played this as Border Guard, I would not hit 5. What now? Hey, I guess I'll take Sculptor now. And then we'll get a Groundskeeper. And then we'll start doing Pilgrimage as... Do I want a silver in my deck? I feel like I don't really want a silver in my deck if I don't need to. So maybe I'm just taking the Quarry and buying Groundskeeper. And then now, ideally, Pilgrimages. But that does require me to get Archive, Groundskeeper, and Sculptor all in play. So it won't necessarily happen every single turn. Oh, also, on account of having won the first game, I think I am now guaranteed to make it into the elimination matches. I won both of my first 2. And I think the only scenario that involved me not making it into the top half of my group, despite having won the first 2, would have involved getting 4-0'd by E.Honda, and then E.Honda losing by a particular margin to Bexor, in which case both of those would have like slightly more than me. But now that I've got, I think, 6.5 total wins guaranteed, there's no way that 2 other players can both be higher than that. Man, this would be a nice turn to buy a second Pilgrimage on. Alas, we're just buying our first. Oh, Groundskeeper with Border Guard's kind of cute. I mean, you'll still get the victory point thingy whenever that's relevant, but it's like a little bit better of a card. Still don't think I want more treasures in this deck. I think we just buy Pilgrimage now. And then hope to find Groundskeeper this turn so he can Pilgrimage again. He spent his Villager? What did he spend his Villager on? To play a warehouse. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, so he's beating me to the pillages, but he's not getting Groundskeepers off of his pillages quite yet. So it's not necessarily that big a deal. Okay, well, I have not found my Groundskeeper. But that's just how it is sometimes. This feels pretty even so far. I don't really know who is in the lead. If either, I think it's relatively marginal. Like, his deck's got a few more good cards in it, but I've also got this Pilgrimage set up. So I'm not sure. I wonder if actually... So, like, I was thinking of buying a number of Pilgrimages. But maybe that number is actually just one? Because something that I'm thinking about now is, although Pilgrimage gains you 3 cards, as opposed to just, like, buying things, which gains you 2 cards, I think from, like, this turn onwards, the card I most want is going to be Groundskeepers. And Pilgrimage means I'm only getting 1 Groundskeeper every 2 turns. It might be better to just be buying Groundskeepers every turn from here on out. If I warehouse this, that wasn't phrased very well. If I play this warehouse normally, I see more cards. Well, I still hit 4 is the question. I only have a 4-card hand, but I think I'm pretty likely to hit 4 anyway. Yeah, there we go. And now I can buy Pilgrimage, gain Groundskeeper, Archive, and Sculptor. And I think from here on out, provided I hit 5, which I guess is not guaranteed or anything, I'll be buying Groundskeepers rather than buying Pilgrimage. I think that makes more sense at least. In fact, you know what? I wonder if that last Archive I bought probably should have just been another Groundskeeper. Like, Archive is definitely better for reliability, but when these Groundskeepers can be border guards, it's actually not that much better for reliability than just having a Groundskeeper in your deck. So who knows? Maybe I should have just taken Groundskeeper even earlier. This is something I want to do. I couldn't do it last turn, but I would like to be sculpting random actions, like Scheme and whatnot, just for the ability to... It's basically just like extra border guards in your deck. I'm not going to be able to here, though, am I? Well, maybe... No, there's just no way I can do that this turn. I can't both find my Sculptor and hit 5, provided I play my Sculptor to gain a random action. Pretty sure that's true. So I'm just taking a copper this turn, I guess, and buying Groundskeeper. It's looking like we're going to split them 50-50, because I think we have 3 GKs each, and I expect him to keep looking Groundskeeper from here on out. I think that actually puts him at a marginal advantage. Like, we're otherwise very similar. I've got 1 more Archive. We have an equal number of Sculptors. He has more Schemes and Warehouses, which is definitely good. But it does mean, I think, that he'll be the first one to greening by like half a turn, despite being player 2. So I think he's probably like about as ahead right now as like player 1 would normally be expected to be, which is to say about half a turn. And these decks, at the very least, seem pretty unlikely to whiff on hitting 5, I think. Once we get to the stage where you're buying province, they're probably going to struggle to buy provinces consistently. You might be buying duchies more often. I wonder if we'll actually need silvers at that point. Might need to end up sculpting some silvers to hit 8. There's a bit of a trade-off, of course, because like you don't just want to hit 8. You want to hit 8 with all 5 of your groundskeepers in play. And these decks aren't like super reliable or anything. So adding too many treasures could make you more likely to hit 8, but at the expense of missing out on your groundskeepers, which would also hurt. He's got the lantern, which is nice. But actually, does the lantern even affect the board? How does this work? Let me think about this. Yeah. The lantern does affect border guards that are being played via Way of the Mouse. Because that's still a border guard you play, even if it's not your border guard. We will take the quarry and maybe just the estate, actually. I got 5 plus sculpture in hand, which is what I wanted to hit. And I don't think I want a free silver here. So I think I'm just going to sculpt a scheme. I don't know if Scheme or Warehouse is better. Most of the time I think they're going to be played as border guards either way. The question is, which of these cards am I most likely to want to play for its normal effect? I'm pretty sure the answer is not Pirate Ship. I think it's going to be Scheme. I like the idea of scheming archives. So he'll get the last groundskeeper here. I'm gonna take the sculptor off of my archive and gain probably just another scheme and a groundskeeper. And then we enter the greening phase. Ooh. Oh, I guess that makes sense, doesn't it? With 2 groundskeepers left, if he buys Pilgrimage here and I buy Groundskeeper, he can Pilgrimage for the final Groundskeeper, and then it's 5-5 either way. Whereas if he bought Groundskeeper, I'd buy the last Groundskeeper, and it would still be 5-5. So I can see the logic in that. In fact, I might even copy it. The benefit of doing it the other way is it frees up your buys for next turn to potentially start buying green cards sooner. Like now E.Honda has to buy Pillage again. Not Pillage, Pilgrimage. He needs to buy Pilgrimage again instead of like just starting on your own provinces immediately. So I'm not sure if that's better. We want Lantern. I almost did it. My mouse was on the horn. I was about to click the horn. It was like muscle memory at this point. But I knew better. I clicked lantern. And look at this. I get to see 3 whole cards now. I could get 4 groundskeepers in play and just start in on estates now. I actually really like that idea, don't I? I do. Oh no, that was not good. I forgot. I'd taken the lantern. I forgot to take the lantern. I thought that was not going to trigger a shuffle, and it was just going to reveal the top 2 cards of my deck. But it revealed 3 cards, and now I think I've triggered a somewhat poor shuffle. It's not a huge deal. I got a warehouse on top. I'll be fine. But it was not intended. I should have just played the groundskeeper normally, I think. Yeah, I think I just want to take an estate now. Like, the estates are going to be limited in supply. And highly valuable. Because it's like the only victory cards you can gain without buying. And so I want to get in on the estates while they're getting still good. And then E.Honda will likely take the final groundskeeper here, plus like a sculptor and an estate. And then ideally my goal for this turn will be to buy province and gain estate. I'm not sure my deck can realistically do that, however. So we'll see what ends up actually happening. That could just mean gaining 2 estates or an estate and a duchy. Could just mean buying a province and not gain an estate. I don't know. But if we're dreaming big here, my ideal turn here would involve buying a province and gaining an estate. I'm pretty sure that's not within the scope of my possibilities. He'll probably take an estate here as well, if I had to guess. For the same reasons I did. So he does like estate groundskeeper. I'm not sure if that extra pilgrimage from E.Honda was good or bad. Like, the upside is it gets him more cards in his deck. Archive, for example, is a card I would love to have as many copies of as I could. He's going to have 1 more Archive than he otherwise would have. The downside, of course, is it slows him down greeting a little bit. And I think it's not totally clear to me whether it was better or worse to do the pilgrimage thing. He has banked up some villagers here, hasn't he? That's something that will help. Having villagers is for sure good, because he gets to gain multiple states. It's not something I have the capacity to do. It does mean he has a bunch of silvers in his deck, though. If I had to wager, I still think I'm probably marginally behind. Just the combination of him having a slight points lead and a slight villager lead. Those 2 things seem significant to me. Well, that's not what you want to see. This is the downside of Archive, of course, is sometimes it reveals too many of your good cards, and then they get stuck out of play, and then you're sad, which is what has occurred here. Take the Lantern. Yeah, I can't get a Villager here and also get an Estate. That's a sad state of affairs. So I think I just take the Copper and buy Estate, buy Duchy, gain Estate. How does this Estate split gonna work out? Like, he could potentially gain 3 Estates next turn. I think if I took 2 Estates here, he would just take the last 3, and then I wouldn't be able to gain any on the following turn. So I don't think I have any incentive to take 2 Estates. That would hurt me more than it would hurt him. I will scheme an Archive. Ooh, look at this lovely hand. I mean, it's not that bad. I just need to find my warehouse, and then I can discard all those Estates, and it'll be okay. If he does 2 Estates and a Duchy here, or, I don't know, maybe 2 Estates and a Province, then I think I should probably just take the final 2 Estates. So as to deny him the ability to sculpt any further Estates on future turns. Has he found all of his groundskeepers? 1, 2, 3. He's got a 4th one in hand. Yeah, he found all 5. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm behind now because he's gonna be scoring 5 points per victory card this turn, whereas I only scored 4 per victory card last turn. He might also even be getting 3 victory cards here. He's played 1 of his Sculptors, but he might have 2 others in hand. So if he takes, I don't know, triple Estate here, that scores him 18 points, which brings him up to 31. And then ideally, I think, do Estate Duchy for 14 points, bringing me up to 34. So I'm not out of this yet, I don't think. I do feel behind. Oh, well, he has moused a Sculptor. I can see the logic in that. Like, I can't, I think, by any means acquire 3 Estates. I don't have a Villager, and he does. And so if I were to take 2 Estates here, he could still take a 3rd Estate next turn. So he'll get the last Estate eventually. He didn't need to get it right now. Well, there's my warehouse, and I can't take it. That's a unfortunate thing. I guess I could have taken the warehouse first and tried to draw back to it. I don't know if that's better. Probably not. I've also only found 3 groundskeepers so far, so I'm not gonna get to use both sculptors. Yeah, well, I found the warehouse again, and another reveal with groundskeeper. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. So I think I'm just taking 2 more states here. If I were to sculpt a silver and buy duchy, he would take 3 estates. I'm pretty sure he could take 3 estates, and then I would be sad. So I should just take 2 estates. Yeah, I don't know how likely these decks are to ever hit province. This might just end on emptying duchies after this. Oh, this is a tough choice. He's revealed a duchy and 2 estates. He chose to take duchy. I would have taken estate there, I think, is actually a bit better. It might depend on what his hand is like. Obviously, I can't see his hand to say for sure. But just like comparing the artwork, the estate's nicer art. I'd rather have that in my hand to look at. Warehouse? Warehouse? Oh, he's left an estate for me. That was very generous of him. That's probably a mistake of him, in fact. I mean, actually, it might not end up making a difference because I'm not sure I can actually hit 5 and also gain a estate. That was a sad turn. That was a really sad turn. I mean, these decks are kind of sad at this point. They're like half victory cards. But I would have loved to buy a duchy and gain a estate. That's the dream. I said I thought scheme was better. I think I was wrong about that. It is becoming clear to me that I really value having warehouses, just because of how much junk I'm likely to have in any given hand. So I probably should have sculpted warehouse over scheme at that point where I was making that decision. So if we start duchy dancing, I think that favors him. He has a points deficit, but there's an odd number of duchies left in the pile. Which means he'll get to take the final duchy. He also might have hit province here. Obviously, had I known that sculptor was going to whiff, the one that just drew me a copper, playing it for silver would have been better. If nothing else, it banks up a villager, which is good. But I obviously had no way of knowing that. 2 many good cards archive. I don't want to see all of those. You're supposed to set aside the victory cards, so I don't have to see them. Okay, so again, tough decision here, but I think estate is definitely the correct one to put in my hand. And as has been the case for most of this game, I feel a little behind, but still not totally out. These decks are rickety enough that it's kind of anyone's game. You can always dud and fail to find your groundskeepers. Like, he only found one there. That being said, I feel like his deck just does have a little bit of a marginal edge here in terms of reliability compared to mine. Wait, am I not even hitting 5? Oh, this is sad. This is really sad. Maybe I just gain another warehouse here. Can a warehouse even get me to 5, though? Oh, this is... Speaking of bad turns. How do I get to 5? If I take a warehouse, I could play it, and then I could draw 3 cards, discard 2. I discard 3 cards. Yeah, warehouse feels actually kind of unlikely to get me to 5, doesn't it? I think I gotta try, though. I got 2 groundskeepers in play. Hitting Duchy here would be so nice. Didn't happen. I did burn a villager, but that's just the way of the world. Like I said, these decks are rickety. I have managed to counter his bad turn with a worse turn. And we're back in the position where it is his turn and there's an odd number of duchies left in the pile. He's got 3 groundskeepers in play already? Uh-oh. See, he's got way more silvers than I do. Like, a lot more. And that comes to the upside. If he's a lot more likely to hit 5 or even 8 than I am, it should come with the downside of he finds his groundskeepers less often. But he is getting the best of both worlds here. Okay, I'm likely to hit 8 here. I would like to find some groundskeepers before I do, though. Alright, this is going well. This is going real well. It's going real well. I'm liking this turn. Okay, we got a few groundskeepers. No, I'll take that. I will take that. You'd think a deck with like 20 border guards in it would be pretty reliable. But if that deck has 10 starting cards and like 10 more green cards in it, it turns out it can dud anyway. Uh-oh. Province again? Stop doing that. Again, taking a state over duchy. Seems pretty clear to me. Okay. Play warehouse. Is this 8? This is not 8. This is 7. I don't want 7, I want 8. Do I just take a silver anyway? for free. Gives me a villager. And if I... So if I like take a silver and I buy a duchy, I'll get 5 points, which brings me to 55. Then if he has a duchy, let's assume even with no groundskeepers in play, he's at 67. And then even if I bought a province with 5 groundskeepers in play, that's still only 11 points. Which would bring me to 66. And then I couldn't protect against him just beating me next turn with a duchy. So what I'm trying to say is I think I'm losing. I'm not really seeing a way to fix that. I really want a province, but I can't province. He needs to miss 5. That's like my only hope of winning here. Is if he misses 5. That's not what I asked for. It is looking somewhat grim. Speaking of missing 5, I guess we're taking a warehouse here. And still... Oh, and I even discarded estates over duchies. Okay, well, with that fatal error, I think we are calling it here. GG. We're going to resign the fancy way. I'm not even going to click the resign, but I'm going to type resign. Look at that. All right. 1-1. Player 2 has been killing it in these games. Perfect. I should be right back as well. Alrighty, I'm back. One thing I think I might have undervalued a little bit there in the beginning was the villagers. I wonder if maybe one of those first 5s should have been a sculptor. Like, I think I took sculptor as my second or third 5. I don't know. I mean, obviously he had the benefit of getting to open with it, which is just better than what I did. But I couldn't have done that. But even so, one thing that seemed to be helping him a lot in that middle-ish game, like when we were gaining estates, with having enough villagers to potentially gain like 2 estates, as a consequence of having banked up some villagers earlier on. And so maybe banking up villagers early with Sculptor would have been a thing worth doing there that I didn't do. Alright, so Way of the Mouse is Vagrant this time. We've got everything we need to build. Fortress is plus action, as is Encampment. Draw can be Scholar, Catacombs, or Encampment. Trashing, Doctor, T-Mog, Cemetery, Trade Route, Loan. Lots of ways to trash things here. Plus buy is Trade Route. I also have gains off of Transmogrify, which can be pretty nice with Fortress. So, What exactly are we doing here? I think one nifty way to trash here would be to just alms cemeteries. I was about to suggest that you like acquire a transmogrify, acquire a fortress, and then you could T-Mog the fortress into the cemetery and then trash 4, and then still get to alms something. And then it dawned on me, why not just skip like 3 of those steps and just alms cemetery directly? Seems like a really fast way to get thin. So I think the opening here early on has got to be some combination of like T-Mogs and cemeteries, with the idea of you get really thin with the cemeteries and then you transmogrify them into cards you actually want. And then where does it go from there? Transmogrifying fortresses for gains seems like the easiest way to get a bunch of cards into your deck real fast. And then, yeah, I just want a lot of transmogrifies. Fascinating. He didn't want a cemetery at all. Do I agree with that? Let me think about that. So if I do the cemetery now, that's good because I've trashed a lot of cards. Alternatively, you could take 2 transmogrifies and then alms for that. Just I feel like this has got to be a little bit faster, right? Than taking 2 transmogrifies first and then taking cemeteries after. Maybe he'll prove me wrong. This is really sad. I had a pretty darn good chance here of seeing transmogrify turn 3, like 5/8, so 63%. And I managed to bottom deck it anyway. What am I taking here? I think this might just be a second cemetery. Oh, interesting. He got a ghost. Spooky. If I take cemetery now and trash 4 cards, I will have a 5-card starting hand and 0 cards in my deck. And those cards would be Copper, Cemetery, Cemetery, Haunted Mirror, T-Mog. And then I could play the T-Mog, alms for another one. That seems like it goes places pretty fast. So here I'll play the Transmogrify, gain a Transmogrify off of alms, and then we're going to start doing things. Now I just want a bunch of Transmogrifies, I think, and a fortress. Maybe a few fortresses, because the fortress, it's really important for you to have a fortress in your starting hand to use Transmogrify on. Does it make sense to turn the cemetery into a catacombs rather than just a fortress? So like supposing you gain catacombs, you can then later transmogrify that into something and then gain a fortress off of that, which is pretty equivalent to just taking the fortress directly. If you're trying to transmogrify it multiple times, it has the problem that the fortress won't go to your hand. It could potentially get you a gold for encampments, which might make it marginally better. I think the first thing I'm going to take is just another Transmogrify. I think turn one of these cemeteries into a Transmogrify, then I can play 2 of them. Then next turn I will turn the other cemetery into a Maybe just catacombs into gold, gain a fortress, buy a or alms for a trade route, and then I could start buying encampments 2 at a time. That kind of sounds like a nifty line, right? Alms for... I said trade route, right? Do I actually believe that? So, next turn I will have these 3 cards plus a trade route in my hand. I will turn cemetery into catacombs, catacombs into gold. I will gain a fortress off of that. I will then play the trade route, trash a copper. That will hit 4. And then I can buy 2 encampments. That sounds good to me. Ghost hitting Transmogrify. I feel like I want a ghost, and I feel like I'll get a ghost here. I'm not too worried about it not happening soon, though. I don't think the benefit of ghost early on is that substantial. I'll actually hit 5. I didn't even think about this, but trade route will give me +1 coin because we've taken the little token thingy. What's it called? A coin token. Yeah, coin token. We've taken the coin token off of the cemetery pile. Catacombs. Or, I don't want to lose the Transmogrify split, do I? I've got 3 of them and he's got 5? Is that right? Now I'm worried all of a sudden. He took hella Transmogrifies. And I want to have hella Transmogrifies. And the line I was contemplating did not give me any additional Transmogrifies. That's a conundrum. I don't like this anymore. Is he going to take them all? The nerve. I mean, I guess this is kind of just player 2 in a nutshell, is losing splits on piles, but is there a way around that? I don't want to have 3 Transmogrifies. I want to have all of them. Maybe the trade route was too soon. It might have been. Maybe the trade route needed to be another Transmogrify. I'm upset now. How do I fix this? I mean, I guess I could just turn the catacombs into two Transmogrifies, but then I've got no fortresses. It's all awkward. It's all really awkward. I could turn the catacombs into a duchy and then gain a Transmogrify off of it, play Transmogrify, trash a copper, and then buy encampment and alms for the other Transmogrify, and then next turn I can... Whatever, I'm going to do it. I don't know if this makes any sense, but how often do you get to power up your trade routes? And we're gonna do that here. Duchy. This can't be right. But I'd rather take the Haunted Mirror or take the Ghost or get the Transmogrified down. Probably the former, right? Because I don't even have a Fortress in my deck yet. So let's just go ahead and take the Ghost now. We'll buy Encampment for Transmogrify. Okay, so we have managed to split the Transmogrifies equally, but at what cost? I have a Duchy in my deck. Why the hell do I have a Duchy? Ay. This is just a mess. I thought I had such a nice looking line. I think as player one I would have been pretty happy with this line, but well, what's important is I don't think this game actually matters at all for my purposes, at least. I'm pretty sure that no combination of wins and losses results in me failing to make it out of the group stage at this point. Because I won 3 versus Pop 180, and 2.5 versus Bexor. I won 1 so far versus E.Honda, so that's 6.5. I don't think there's a way that Bexor and E.Honda can both end up at above 6.5 wins at the conclusion of their match, no matter how the wins and losses break down. But I think that there's still some incentive, right? I feel like seeding in this tournament for the elimination stage is going to be determined based on wins and losses. So winning more would still be good for me because I don't want to get seeded super low. It is funny, this kingdom, with the number of transmogrifies and all, and the significance of that card, the big thinks are not even like at the end of your turn when you're buying stuff, so much as the beginning of your turn when you're choosing what to trash to transmogrify. Yeah, he's doing the catacombs thing. It's gonna work better for him because he doesn't have to get a goddamn duchy. Yeah. I would expect him to take a gold off of this just because if you're not taking a gold off of it, then it's just like Fortress but with a discard attack on yourself. Okay, he's got 2 transmogrifies down. I have 0 transmogrifies down. I would prefer to have 2 transmogrifies down. So this turn, I'm just going to play 2 of them, and then we'll trash the copper, and then alms for fortress and buy encampment. Yeah, and then play the ghost, and then most likely the fortress will end up in our hand at the start of next turn. In fact, I think it's kind of guaranteed. I think if the ghost hits transmogrify, I should be able to call the transmogrify. Let me think about this. This is one of those ones where I'm not sure of the rulings. I'm pretty sure if the ghost plays the transmogrify at the start of your turn, you can still call it at the start of your turn. Please hit T-Mog. Thank you. Duchy is just embarrassing. I don't want to look at it. So I've managed to lose the encampment split, despite taking the first one. Not that the encampment split is like the most important thing in the world here, but it's a good card. So I said I was basically guaranteed to find my fortress, and then I realized that's actually not true. I've only got a 50-50 shot here, don't I? Of what would be the best draw, which is I'm going to play this Transmogrify twice. There's no value in playing it normally twice, because you can't put it on the tavern mat twice. You just get like +1 action the second time. So the second play of Transmogrify will be Way of the Mouse. Or I guess the first one doesn't, the order is kind of insignificant, but if the Way of the Mouse play doesn't draw the fortress, which it's only 50% likely to do, then I'm really sad. And we have to watch out for piles here, because piles can run really fast. Cemeteries are low, plunder is low. Transmogrify is going to be lots of things. Okay. Come on. Please, please draw a fortress. Oh. Okay, well, now we're sad. How to make the best of a bad situation. Option A is to play this as a mouse again, in which case I'm just missing out on one free Transmogrify play, which is like losing out on a full 5 cost action. Option B is to turn the duchy into a fortress. What am I even doing with this turn exactly? If I take plunders, I can't do the little trade route alms trick and also play the plunders. But if I don't do that, I mean, there's nothing here like cheap enough to buy with just a trade route anyway, is there? I don't like how this game is going. I think I'm just going to play the Transmogrify. Wait. I'll mouth it. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I guess I can hang on to the duchy for now, because why trash duchy when I have a fortress in my hand? Do I value golds more than plunders? I might, to be honest. Like, if I took 2 plunders here, I would be hitting 6. If I took 2 golds, I'm hitting 8. And 8 is a bigger number than 6. I'm also not sure what I'm buying, though. Do I want another trade route, maybe? For extra buys? Wait, maybe I take 1 gold and 1 plunder, and then I buy like a trade route and a 4 cost? Oh wait, I can't take gold off of fortress. I'd have to kill my duchy to take gold, wouldn't I? Well, that's sad. For some reason, I was looking at that and thinking I could gain a free gold. I guess I could do the catacombs thing again if I wanted to. Or I gain a catacombs, turn that into gold, but then I don't know, that also seems like it kind of sucks. How many transmogrifiers does he have down? 3 of them? Yeah, that's no good. Whatever, let's just take 2 plungers, I guess. Right, 2 more trade routes. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I feel a little bit lost here. I did manage a top deck fortress, which is really nice. Now what should I gain off of the fortress? I think 1 should be catacombs for the draw. I might need to take a fortress for plus action, though. Well, depending on what his turn does. My concern is I don't see my plunders yet. I could play this encampment and hope to reveal one of the plunders, and then my turn is totally fine. I play encampment, play catacombs, and draw my deck. But I'd be pretty sad if I sent this encampment back. I mean, probably the biggest reason is just because then I can't possibly pile out. So I might have to do like gain fortress, gain catacombs, play both of those. I'll see where things stand after his turn. I don't think he can win here. He's probably thinking about it. He might prove me wrong. But I think that if he doesn't win here, he can probably put himself in a position where he's likely to win next turn. Like, just get his ghost down, keep some transmogrifies on the mat, and then I would have a hard time playing around him piling out on the following turn. Oh, I was talking about gaining a Catacombs and a Fortress. You know what's going to be better? If he doesn't empty plunders, I'll just take a Catacombs and a Plunder, and then I can just guarantee that I play Encampment. That is, of course, conditional on him not emptying plunders, though. Just thinking hard. How much do I have in my deck? Like what if he just did nothing and lowered no piles? Could I empty cemeteries and plunders? I would gain... Maybe I would have to gain 2 plunders, in which case I don't think I can draw very well, can I? My encampments are drawing at most 4 of those cards. And then I need to buy 4 cemeteries. I've got 6 money off of these trade routes. Which could get me 2 cemeteries. Yeah. Like I think that if he doesn't go for a win here and just sets up for a win next turn, I don't think I can do anything about that. I don't think I'm in a position that I'm threatening to win. If he were to lower plunders and cemeteries, then I would strongly think about going for a win. Oh, I heard the notification. Like, oh good, it's my turn now. No, that's just the make E.Honda resign notification. That's actually a good play. Let me think about that. I feel like clicking this button probably increases my win percentage pretty substantially, right? Like I go from being like, I don't know, 25% likely to win to 100%. That does seem pretty compelling. Alright, in the meantime, let's look at the card art. Oh, I can't. The god dang make E.Honda resign button is like covering up significant portions of the art. E.Honda, do something. Click. I want to look at the art. This is frustrating. I can see like 2/3 of the artwork. Wait, this is weird. Why can't I... Oh, there we go. Why can't I... If I right-click trade route in most of these locations, it doesn't actually show the picture show up. Only in certain specific locations does it seem to work. What's going on with that? It doesn't seem to be true of any other card, where right-clicking anywhere makes it appear. This is weird. There are substantial portions of this trade route card where if I right click it, the picture doesn't show up. Oh, loan as well. Trade route and loan. Doesn't appear to be true of anything else. Has he done anything yet? Oh, no, he hasn't done anything yet because I still see the E.Honda resign buttons. I know the answer to that. Oh, the button disappeared. What has he done? He has called to transmogrify. Okay. Alright, well. Now he can deliberate in peace, and I can at least look at the artwork. Fortress. I don't like the color scheme of Fortress very much, but it is a cool looking bit of architecture. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Cemetery. It's kind of spooky. 7 out of 10. Beggar. That's a pretty realistic looking face. I think that was well done. I'll give Beggar an 8 out of 10. Encampment and Plunder. There's that one artist where like everything she paints is just brown. It's just like a big brown square. And I'm pretty sure these must be 2 that she did. Because Encampment and Plunder is just like 98% brown. Those 5 out of 10. Doctor. It's fine. 6.5. Loan. It's a good representation of a loan. 8.5 out of 10. Trade route. 7 out of 10. Scholar. She doesn't look happy to be in the library, despite allegedly being a scholar. 5 out of 10. Transmogrify. Now that's got a lot going on. 8 out of 10. Catacombs. Not a lot going on that one. 6 out of 10. I'm not even going to click on Alms. I don't want to look at that. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 0 out of 10 and save your eyes. Alms looks awful. Way of the Mountains is pretty nice. 7 out of 10. Okay. E.Honda has done things. What things has he done? He has gained a trade route. And he has left 2 of his transmogrifies on the map and put 2 more down. Yeah, this is what I was thinking seemed like it was going to be best, is he doesn't appear to be lowering the piles, really. Not the relevant ones, at least. And he's leaving a bunch of transmogrifies down. He'll probably play his Ghost here. I think that's going to set up for him having a very good turn next turn. And I don't think there's anything I'm going to be able to do about that. I looked at this a second ago. I don't see a way that I can win. Yeah, he hasn't really lowered piles in a way that would help me in the slightest as far as piling out goes. I would need 6 gains. I've got 2 gains off of transmogrifies. And I theoretically have 4 buys. But I don't think I could get 16 money, right? I mean, wait a sec. No, I can't get 16 money, right? I get 2 plunders plus 2 plunders. Even if I somehow drew all of that, that's 8 money. Plus 3 transmogrify, plus 3 trade routes is 14, which is not enough to buy 4 cemeteries. And if I tried to alms for cemetery, then I can't play my plunders. So I'm pretty sure there's no pile out available to me. What are these bottom cards? I've got 2 plunders, an encampment, a ghost, a duchy. A duchy. I don't want to think about it. And 3 T-Mogs. Yeah, there's nothing worth money down there that would help me at all. Other than the plunders, which I already accounted for. So what I'm going to need to do is lose this game, it seems. I mean, if I lower piles at all, I'm pretty sure he'll win. If I don't lower piles, he's probably still pretty likely to win. I should probably try to score at least enough points this turn that just emptying plunder and cemetery is not enough for him to win. I think that's my goal. That at least makes it harder for him to pile out. So I'll get 2 points off of my plunders, which bring me to 7. He would score 10 plus the plunder he's got, 11, plus he would gain 2 plunders, 13. So I need to get to at least 14 points, I think, is my goal here. I would like to do that while using as few of these transmogrifies as possible. I would also like to leave stuff on the mat so as to have a good next turn. So, how do I score 14? I'll get 2 points if I manage to play both my plunders, which would bring me to 7. And then Province is worth 6. That's 13. This still looks a bit tricky, doesn't it? It looks rather tricky. I don't want to take an estate with it either. Yeah, I'm going to have to take Province, aren't I? And that's going to power up his trade routes. Important consideration there. You gotta watch out when and how you power up trade routes. It's a strong card and all. Yeah, dang it. I don't like this. I feel like the thing I really need is to put a plunder in my hand so I can safely play this encampment. But I don't want to take a plunder. So I have 8 cards to draw. I have 5 cards to draw right now with 2 encampments and a fortress. I think I need to take a catacomb so I can draw everything. I think I'm just going to take the risk that I might send back my encampment. And that's honestly probably not even the worst, because if nothing else, sending back an encampment makes it harder for him to pile out by a little bit. Wait, do I have 2 fortresses? No, he has 2. Yeah, I can't even play my... This is a pickle to be in. I can't even play all these trade routes, can I? Unless I'm willing to trash all their stuff. Okay, well, we managed to do that at least. Discard. Okay, what's that last card? I discarded T-Mog Plunder Ghost. I drew Plunder Ghost. The last card of the Transmogrify. That's a fine card to leave down there. I will happily Ghost to Transmogrify, I think. So I play these 2. Play this. I mean, alternatively, I could play the Fortress, play the Transmogrify, but yeah, this is I don't like my position. I don't like it one bit. Ay. So I can't even score enough to prevent the Plunder Cemetery pileout, can I? Because I said I needed 14 for that, and I can't beat 14. I mean, I guess I could do Province... I can't do Province Estate either. I mean, I could if I killed, like, a Ghost and a Transmogrify, but that just kills my deck. Sucks. I don't like this. Yeah, well... Well, if the province doesn't even protect me, do I even want it? Because the province powers up their trade route, which might make it end up being easier for them to pile out. So maybe I don't want to take province here. How do I stop them from doing the thing? I don't want them to do that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just lose next turn, and I can't do anything about it. But I can't take a trade route either, because if I lower trade routes, then plunder trade route becomes pretty easy to... Actually, maybe I can lower trade routes. I could do like Duchy trade route, and then he could afford to pile out with a fewer coins, but plunder trade routes doesn't score any points. Does an additional trade route even help me, though? Like, I can't play that many trade routes. Why do I even want a trade route? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe I could buy 2 more fortresses? I have no idea. I'm just kind of resigning myself to probably losing this game. I don't think it's worth thinking about more. Please fail to pile out. I mean, like, he's got to go for it, because I'm going to have a good turn this turn, and I will very likely win if he doesn't. But I'm pretty darn sure that he can pile out cemeteries here. Yeah. I don't think I could have played around that. Even if I'd gotten to 14, he could have bought an extra estate, it looks like. Wait, did I miscount this or something? It's only 12. Oh, it was only 12 because he didn't play all of his plunders. GG. In any case, I don't think that means that a province would have saved me, because if I had taken the province, then his trade routes would have generated more money, and he could have like bought a duchy at the end instead of a estate. All right, so Way of the Mouse is warehouse this time. We didn't get any of the truly broken mouse targets, like experiment or encampment. That's a little disappointing. Those are the fun ones. Anyways, what's going on here? Single buy kingdom, but there's plenty of gains. Falconer can gain stuff. Procession's kind of nice for mid-turn gain things. Only action source is going to be acting troop or procession. I like the idea of proccing acting troops. You get the 4 villagers twice, and we're going to trash it anyway, so you might as well gain a 4 off of it. So I think that's something that's going to come up here. First order of business is probably just to trash, though. So I'm thinking, could we double catapult? Is probably best. The other option is procession catapult. Then you're really happy with the... Yeah, actually, let's do that. I love opening procession whenever I get an opportunity to. If you line them up, you can proc the catapult, which would be good. If they're in opposite hands, you can play the procession as warehouse, and then you're still happy. And then we want a ghost ship. We want some wild hunts. We want some acting troops. And we want a lot of... Actually, I already said acting troops. We probably want Falconer as well. Falconer to gain the acting troop seems good. I don't think I need an acting troop yet. So maybe just a second catapult. Oh no, my procession is bottom decked. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I guess on turn 3, I was thinking you just proc the catapult for 2 trashes. But I guess after he's gotten attacked, for sure, then the better line is just proc the catapult and play it as Way of the Mouse wants to trigger a shuffle. Do I want a silver? I need to hit 5 at some point. Silver might help with that. The alternative is just taking the acting troop, and I don't think I need that yet. He's winning the procession split. I don't like that, but I can't really do anything about it either. I guess I'll go ahead and take Acting Troop now. I really don't want 2 silvers in this deck. And maybe Acting Troop will at least let me justify buying like a Terminal 5 and still being able to play it. Maybe I am taking 2 silvers. I keep hitting 3. I like having the 4 costs, but his deck is behaving a lot better. He's got so many of the 4s. The 4s are obviously a lot better than the 3s just because you can proc them into 5s, and the 5s are what you really want. But I keep hitting 3, and he keeps getting the 4s. I guess it's a second. So I really need to hit 5. Okay, well, if I don't get attacked here, then I'll hit 5. So please, damn. Nah, well, this still works. I'll just trash the estate. Is Ghost Ship first 5? Or is it Falconer? I think Falconer. I mean, with Ghost Ship's attack is obviously strong, but if I'm catapulting you anyway, it's less strong. I think I just want to proc the catapult. Is that true? Yeah, I think I just want to proc the catapult. I need more processions. There's one. That cut burst attack is actually being kind of a pain in the butt. This is a nice draw, right? Actually, is this a nice draw? Maybe it's not a nice draw. So I think I should leave the Falconer in hand, because I could gain a cut purse off of this catapult, and then I can activate Falconer. And so maybe I had to discard down to this, and then mouse it again, gain a cut purse, gain another cut purse off of Falconer, proc that cut purse. That seems like the best line, right? Activate. Actually, I don't even have to activate the Falconer, did I? I have enough actions that I could just take a procession and play the Falconer normally. That's better. And Ghost Ship time? I know he doesn't have a Falconer in hand. Both because I have the only Falconer, but also because I got to see his hand. So he can't react. Maybe just more Falconers. I hope he gains a 2-type here. I'd be very happy if he gains a 2-type. He'll probably proc the Acting Troop and gain a procession off of that, so that'll just be a 1-type. So it's looking unlikely. Maybe he'll proc a proc, Oh, he did. He actually did. I didn't even notice he'd already done that. He's procession to procession. And I feel like the most likely things to gain here would be all 2 types. Ghost Ship is an attack. Wild Hunt is a gathering type. Falconer is a reaction. He could gain a Groundskeeper, but he won't. I'm thinking about what I should gain off of this Falconer. Probably just nab the last procession, actually, before he can take it. And then I can play procession on procession, and the first time it'll be warehouse, and I'll be fine. Okay, so he's going for Wild Hunt. Well, this draw is looking a little awkward. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that didn't work how I thought it would. Man, these little chains of processions are hard to follow. I thought I was going to trash a procession just then, but I didn't. Oh, this is awkward. I wanted to activate Falconer. Did I just mouse it, I guess? Feels like that sucks a little bit, but whatever. I want a Ghost Ship, right? Wait. Have I trashed all my catapults? Did I do that on accident and not notice it? Oh no! Oh no! I didn't even remember. Shoot! I've just thrown this game, haven't I? Well, not just. I apparently threw this game a little while back and didn't realize it. A turn ago. Oh, that's. I botched this. I totally botched this. I wasn't paying attention. There's no catapults left in the pile. I'm out of catapults, so I have no way to trash my junk now. God dang it. Well, now I'm sad. So we gotta attempt to end this game fast. Probably unsuccessfully. That was dumb. That was really dumb. So now I think we're going to just aggressively pile drive Wild Hunt and Estate. Maybe some other pile. Maybe Wild Hunt and Acting Troop can pile out. I guess I got a shot still. Like, my deck is kind of screwed long term because I can't make it thin. But maybe if we just force a fast pile out, that won't have enough time to have a big impact. That's the hope, at least. Okay, so we're going to proc the Acting Troop, I believe. We can draw first and see what we draw. Interesting choice. Okay. Yeah, let's just spin wildly and hope good things happen. Gain that. Play procession. We'll mouse this one. Hope find something good. Okay, play acting troop. Activated a falconer. That's good. Let's take a cut purse. Take a wild hunt. Oh, I'm out of processions, aren't I? Whoopsie. I thought I was going to be able to proc the cut purse. As it turns out, I cannot do that. How many wild... I have more wild hunts down there, right? I sure hope I do. Yeah, this is fine. I only have one procession left. That could be a problem as well, couldn't it? Oh well. Pile out aggressively. That's the goal. He has a bunch of processions. Should I try to score points? What's my triumphal arch count here? I have a bajillion wild hunts. Wait, I have 15 points from something. What is that something? Why do I have 15 points? Do I have 5 cut purses in this deck? Is that possibly right? Why do I have... Oh, I have estates. I probably have 4 cut purses. So if I were to just take cut purse here, that would score me points, right? Let's find out. Yeah, it did. Okay. Yeah, so the goal here is hope E.Honda doesn't score 12 points here. And if I get another turn, I think I'm reasonably likely to win now, actually. I can proc a cut purse for a wild hunt, gain a cut purse off of Falconer, and then buy the last wild hunt, if all goes well. I don't know if all will go well. He still has 3 processions left, so it would not be in the slightest shocking if he were to just win this turn. You know what? I probably should have gotten a ghost ship at some point, to be honest. My whole rationale initially for holding off on the ghost ship was, oh, I've got catapults, and I'm discard attacking him anyway. And then we later learned I did not have catapults, and I was mistaken about that. Which also means I was probably mistaken about not getting ghost ship. Because the ghost ship attack sure hurts a whole heck of a lot. Oh my. We must have been taking a long time. I see Heron is spectating. And I'm pretty sure they had a match for the same tournament that started after ours did. And is apparently already finished. I'm not sure to what degree I am to blame for this long match. I'm sure I share the blame. But I've got a suspicion that more of it is on E.Honda's shoulders. We started 2 hours and 20 minutes ago, give or take, for 4 games. That's a long time. This game probably does matter a lot more for E.Honda than it does for me. Because he hasn't played his final match yet. And so how many wins he'll need in his last match will depend on how many wins he gets in this match. Whereas for me, this game is just about seeding. Winning more will mean a better seed. If I just barely make it out of the group stage with 6.5 wins, I'm probably going to be entering as like a lower seed. Even 7.5 wins probably isn't going to put me in like a super high seed or anything. Aha, the make E.Honda resign button rears its head once again. I do have a very real fear of, compared to last year's tournament, suffering from a bit of a regression towards the mean. E.Honda and I being the two to make it to finals last time. But, like, realistically, there's a lot of good people in this tournament. And so, expected performance here, I think, this year is got to be lower than last year. And so, I feel like I'm much more likely to underperform relative to the previous year than overperform. Like, despite us being top 2 last year, I don't even think we have the hardest group, to be honest. There are some other groups that look real scary. Falconer. Intriguing. He might need the Falconer for... Can he pile here? He might have a win. The Falconer could be him attempting to gain the last cut purse, and then he can gain the Wild Hunts off of processions, and then buy a province or something? I don't know. I'm not precisely sure what the Falconer is for. Like, I'm pretty sure he could pile out, but piling out while scoring 12 points is a little bit of a more difficult task. Oh, is he going to attack me with his catapult? He is, isn't he? That's why he gained the rocks. I feel it coming. So he's playing for next turn, I think, and hoping I dud. I don't think I'm going to dud. I feel like this is a pretty good starting hand, even if I get attacked. But, you know, I could dud. Okay, he doesn't want the rocks anymore. What a shame. It's not every day you get to see rocks gained. What does he want? He wants an acting troupe. Yeah, I mean, if he had a copper anyway, that makes sense. Okay, so he's just playing for a big dud. If he's taking Wild Hunt there, unfortunately for him, I do not plan on having a big dud. Is this win in hand? I think it is, right? And that pile's empty. Points lead. GG's.